following up on our report last week where we introduced our viewers to the 6 candidates seeking the GOP nod to become the party's general election nominee for the 6th District U.S. Congressional race, we want to inform you that on Saturday, January 6th, 2018, the 6th District GOP committee met and the 30 voting members present unanimously voted to choose the party's nominee by a closed convention instead of an open primary. Here is the voice of the United States 6th District GOP Congressional Committee Vice Chairman, Matt Tiedrick.
Republican 6th District Committee believe that the convention is the best method to nominate our candidates because it's a process in which only Republicans can be involved in. Traditionally, more establishment career politicians prefer primaries. In Virginia, primaries are open to Democrats, Independents, and Republicans. So as a Republican, as a conservative Republican, I prefer, as does the supermajority, in this case, the unanimous individuals of the 6th District Committee prefer a convention.
Breaking Through reached out to all 6 of the declared candidates seeking the GOP's nomination to get their reaction to the committee's decision to hold a convention as opposed to a primary. 2 of the candidates, Ben Klein and Kimberly Lewis, did not respond to Breaking Through's inquiry about their reaction to the decision to hold a convention. But Harrisonburg attorney Ed Justo invited us into his office in downtown Harrisonburg for a sit-down interview.
I think the convention is efficient as to reducing the amount of people that pull special interest for them to vote for them. And it balances the competition as to finances because it allows candidates with less budget to be able to be heard the same way the candidate with the most budget will be heard otherwise.
Chaz Haywood's campaign responded with a written statement. Physician Chan Park responded with this statement. Candidate Cynthia Dunbar contacted us via telephone with her reaction to the committee's decision to hold a convention.
Basically, in conservative politics, Republicans we prefer conventions because we believe in the principles of limited government. We encourage not looking to taxpayer dollars to support everything. So conventions, they place the responsibility for the private party nomination in the hands of the party rather than shifting the burden to the government and the taxpayers.
When we sat down and spoke to Ed Justo, he appeared to go on the offensive against Cynthia Dunbar with these remarks.
She stated, and I was there, so I heard it with my own ears, that we should remove the administrative procedure away from the executive branch and transfer it back to Congress because they should be doing that job. If so, people will be unable to comment on how federal agencies operate. So technically, her version of being a Republican is, no, let's take the opinion out of the people and put it in this little group in Congress, which sometimes might or might not represent you because they don't have contact with you. For example, good lad in the last years. And let me vote for me and let me decide what is best for you. I don't think that is the best method to executing a democracy, and I don't think that's Republican at all. Because if she's willing to accommodate to a special interest, or if she's a shoo-in there because she already has a connection with the vice chair of the district, then I don't see how she will represent the people instead of those interests. So I think people should be more aware that they should vote for a person that represents their interest, not the interests of anybody else. And the people's interests are not necessarily Ms. Dunbar's interest. I don't know if you have checked her record, but although she was in a very good school board, her interests do not seem to match those of the Valley.
Here is Cynthia Dunbar's response.
It's kind of interesting because I am a constitutional purist because I actually believe in and support our Constitution. Not only have I studied it for years, I've actually taught it at the law school level. And in order to preserve our constitutional republic, you actually have to understand what the framers intended in putting in these checks and balances. The Constitution is actually supposed to be a document of enumerated powers. And what that means, Theodore, is that those powers that aren't specifically given to the federal government were intended to be reserved to the states and the people. And so by preserving those constitutional limitations, it actually gives more power into the hands of the people. Additionally, they created 3 branches of government. Article 1 gives power to Congress to legislate. Article 2 is the executive branch. To execute in Article 3 is the judiciary. And the reason that they put predominantly the largest amount of power in the hands of Congress was those were the ones that were closest to the people, the place where the people could actually go to their legislators and let their voice be heard where there was accountability. I don't think I have to tell anyone how difficult it is to go to a bureaucratic agency and try to have any kind of accountability. It's just not there. And so by putting this authority back in the hands the way the framers intended it, where Congress has to be responsible, they have to be accountable when they come back into their districts, the people know who they can go to say, look, we don't like this, we want this to be changed. That actually does put power back in the hands of the people, and it makes government much more accountable.
That wasn't the first attack in this race. Vice Chair Matt Tiedrick is also Cynthia Dunbar's political director. He made this statement accusing candidates Ben Cline and Chaz Haywood of teaming up on his candidate.
Regrettably, there's two individuals in the race, Ben Cline and Chaz Evan Haywood, and their supporters are apoplectic that a open and fair and transparent process, which has been disclosed 5 months in advance of what the voting method is going to be, they are very upset at that because it exposes the fact that they have teamed up to try to defeat the conservative Cynthia Dunbar.
And while Haywood did not respond to breaking through, he was quoted by the Daily News Record as labeling Tiedrick's allegations as, quote-unquote, absurd. With over 4 months left into the convention, this race is already heating up, and these candidates seem to be ready for a fight to the finish. In the Breaking Through newsroom, Theodore Whitelow for Breaking Through.